Alcoholism and Violence, The Dark Legacy of Ernest Hemingway. Imagine a man whose name evokes images of adventure, literary genius, and an indomitable spirit. Now picture that same man stumbling through the streets of Paris or Key West, fists clenched, eyes glazed over with the haze of too much liquor. This duality, brilliance and self-destruction, defines Ernest Hemingway, one of the greatest writers of the 20th century, whose battle with alcoholism and violent tendencies left scars far deeper than the pages of his novels. The Hemingway myth, a man of adventure or a man lost? Hemingway's public persona painted a picture of a rugged, fearless man who hunted big game, fought in wars, and lived life on his own terms. Yet, behind the myth lay a man grappling with inner demons. His love affair with alcohol began early, and it quickly became an inseparable part of his identity. He drank to celebrate, to grieve, to write, and, ultimately, to escape. "I drink to make other people more interesting," Hemingway once quipped. But what he saw as a charming quirk was, in reality, a destructive force that fueled his darker impulses. The impact of alcohol on Hemingway's relationships. Hemingway's drinking wasn't just a personal vice, it deeply impacted those closest to him. His marriages, 4 in total, were tumultuous, marked by periods of intense passion followed by violent outbursts. His wives, Hadley Richardson, Pauline Pfeiffer, Martha Gellhorn, and Mary Welsh, all bore witness to his erratic behavior. Mary Welsh, his 4th wife, once recounted an incident where a drunken Hemingway flew into a rage, smashing furniture and shouting obscenities. His temper, worsened by alcohol, often crossed the line into physical violence. These outbursts left emotional scars on his partners, with several describing their experiences as living with a ticking time bomb. His children, too, felt the weight of his addiction. Gregory Hemingway, one of his sons, struggled with his own identity and substance abuse issues, a tragic echo of his father's struggles. The cost of genius, creativity versus self-destruction. There's no denying that Hemingway's drinking was intricately linked to his creative process. He famously wrote The Old Man and the Sea while battling his demons. His writing style, sparse, direct, and emotionally charged, mirrored his internal struggles. But the cost of this genius was staggering. Alcoholism took a toll on Hemingway's health, leading to liver damage, high blood pressure, and eventually, mental instability. His paranoia and depressive episodes became more frequent, culminating in his suicide in 1961. A legacy of pain and art. Hemingway's legacy is complicated. He gave the world timeless stories of resilience, love, and loss, but his personal life tells a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked addiction and violence. Was his brilliance worth the cost? That's a question that haunts those who study his life. For every reader inspired by his prose, there's a sobering reminder of the human cost behind the art. In the end, Hemingway's life reads like one of his novels, a story of triumph and tragedy, of strength and vulnerability. He lived as he wrote, intensely, passionately, and, at times, destructively. But unlike his fictional characters, he couldn't rewrite his ending. What can we learn from Hemingway's struggles? Hemingway's story serves as a reminder that genius and madness often walk hand in hand. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of idolizing flawed individuals without acknowledging their darker sides. His life urges us to confront the consequences of addiction and to support those struggling with it. As readers, we admire Hemingway's words. As human beings, we must also acknowledge the pain those words masked. And as we reflect on his life, we must ask ourselves, how do we separate the art from the artist? And at what cost do we glorify genius when it comes wrapped in the cloak of personal destruction?